Hi everybody, you are wonderful, thank you for watching us. Welcome to our special guest, Jessica Lin, who is a transgender public speaker and advocate. So, what is the project Butterfly?
The butterfly is a huge symbol in the transgender community, like a rebirth, coming out to your true gender, your true self. So we're starting a project called the Butterfly Project, and it's a way for other local community members to come and explore and explain their story to the general public. I believe that more people all around the world need to start telling and expressing their stories and to have a chance, a forum to come out and speak.
So your tournée, right now you are in Ljubljana because you had one public speech. How much time does it take you?
I do this now about 11 to 11 and a half months out of the year now.
So what kind of impact does have that project? And actually what does it mean to you?
I have been speaking out 7-8 years now, and it's really started going huge the last 2 or 3 years. It started going really big internationally. And now, I have spoken over 21 different countries in the last several years and probably spoken to close to 1,000 times. What I do is I target mainly universities, law schools, sociology departments, psychology, gender studies. I'm an open book. And I find it the very, very huge impact. And I get letters, I get hundreds of letters from students saying what an impact it did, how much you opened my eyes. And I have found the most difficult place is actually southern United States, Mississippi, Alabama, Louisiana. Down in that is the place that I feel actually the most uncomfortable, if that makes sense to you.
Yeah, it's surprising.
It's surprising, but yeah.
You are very known for your very open approach to Q&A.
Yeah.
Are there any questions that actually still surprise you?
There's not a question that doesn't surprise me. I am an open book, and I speak, as I told you, with a lot of human sexuality classes. There's two really popular questions is, can I have an orgasm? You know what I mean? And do I tell a man prior to having sex? Okay? And those are really the two most common questions.
The sex is actually what cis people usually want to ask you.
There's a lot of questions, as you've heard my presentation, as I talk a lot about the law and my child and the whole 9 yards. But those are usually the most common questions. And when I date a guy, when do I tell him? And that's one of the most common things too is, and if I just want to go sleep with a guy, and I'm on the road, I don't tell him, all right? It's just, but...
why would you?
Yeah, why would, you know what I'm saying? But that's usually one of the most common questions is, when do I tell a guy, before, after sex, and all that kind of stuff. And it's just, students are very, very curious about sexual questions, and they really, really are. And it's funny.
Are there any questions that you would like to be asked in the audience and you usually don't get them?
I would like to hear more people to say, how can I be a better ally? I do hear it. I do hear it, but not enough. I want more people to come and say, how can I be a better ally? How can I help my community? There's a lot of people in the world, and we need to get more people to help us, support us. And it's very simple by just discussing it. Go home. You saw my presentation, I asked the students to go home and talk to their moms, their dads, their brothers, their sisters, their girlfriends, their boyfriends. I don't care, but continue the conversation because I honestly believe that is going to be the most powerful way to change this world. And I would love to see more people say, how can I get involved? How can I be an ally? How can I help out? And there's some very, very simple, ways to do it, but I wish I heard more of that. I do hear it, but not enough. Not as much as I would like to, if that makes sense.
What kind of response do you get from the trans community and trans people, generally speaking?
I usually get a very positive remark, a very, very positive response. I don't speak to a huge amount of LGBT organizations, but when I go to university, you will usually get the LGBT organization coming to see me. So I do get people from the community, okay, and one of the reasons I don't want to preach to the choir, when I go out there, I'm emphasizing this is my story. I'm not a spokesman for the community. You have a different story. Everybody has a different story. There's no two of us alike, just like the general population. So I really, really emphasize that. And I feel that most people say thank you for that. The transgender community is a huge community. It's not just male to female. It's not just female to male. It's non-binary. There's gender queer. There's gender non-conforming. Facebook, I think, has 67, 69 different terms. There's a huge diverse community within the transgender community. We need to accept everybody for who they are.
You have quite some experience in educating also medical staff. Can you tell us what are the challenges doing that?
I speak with the NHS in the UK. I do a lot of medical schools, and there's really, the most that we're doing there is educating people how to treat a transgender person, okay? When I did my transition, when I had my surgeries and all of that, I went to several different doctors in California and had such an issue. I went to 2 different gynecologists that didn't look at me properly, which caused an issue, and it's a long story, but we started a program to help people understand more about it. And it's very, very simple. It's just basic terminology. I'm not a medical doctor. I don't pretend to be a medical doctor. But what we do is just basically teach them how to respect the transgender community.
Yeah, I can guess it's quite a challenge, because how is it possible to explain doctors that actually they get something wrong about sex and gender?
Well, a lot of them, they go in there and they look. I mean, I have a friend that just went through a nightmare in California, and she's 60-something years old and has a deep voice, and instantly looks like a girl, but instantly, because it said that she transitioned, and they put it on her medical chart, and they were calling her male pronouns. And it's like, you know how embarrassing that is? Because you were born with a certain body part, they're gonna say, okay, you're born male, you're a male, okay? And you get it in some government official, you know, in some government office. You used to get it in schools saying, we have to call you from your birth name. You know, you go into school, you transition in school, and you look like a girl. But because your birth says you were born Joe or Steve or Mike, we're gonna call you that. So we're doing a lot, and again, it's just a basic, simple training is how to treat people. And it's very that simple. I mean, it's not that complicated. You just learn how to do it. With teachers, for instance, it doesn't take a teacher very long to say, okay, everybody come to your class, put your name down, and write your proper pronouns. How you want me to address you. It's that simple.
You're coming from America.
Yeah.
Can you tell us a word about the political climate there since the election of Trump?
He's given the okay to hate, to discriminate. And so what Trump, I don't really think Trump gives a damn about transgender people, but he has a very conservative, his vice president is Mike Pence, Jeff Sessions, which is now removed. He deals to this right religious base. And so they're making laws that say, my religious freedom says, I can't feed you, I can't serve you. There was an article yesterday that I read that says a Christian homeless shelter in Alaska wants to discriminate against the transgender community. So if you're freezing in Alaska, you're not going to survive the night. And they have a right, because their religious beliefs say, we're going to not let you in. They passed laws that say we have a right, our medical community doesn't have to serve you because it's our religious freedom. So there's a lot of anti-transgender, anti-LGBT, and really specifically targets mainly the transgender community.
You are explaining in your speech that you are facing a lot of transphobia from the US legal procedure.
I met a girl and I came out to her and she said she'd help me do my transition. We became friends and we ended up in a relationship. We had 3 children, went through a nasty, nasty divorce, and I was granted full custody, full legal physical custody of all 3 boys. And then I said, I need to transition, and she said, let me back in the house and I'll help you. So I let her back in the house and we started planning my transition. And she said, you can come out to the older two boys. All I ask is that we wait till our youngest is 12 years old. So I came out to my eldest two boys. My eldest now lives near me in California, my biggest ally. And then I said, it's time we tell our youngest child, and she filed a restraining order with the state of Texas. The Texas judge in Texas ordered me or go to jail to have a psychiatric evaluation done by their right-wing evaluator. He came back and said I was the better parent, and the judge would not allow it in the courtroom. And in June of 2013, the judge in Texas removed all of my parental rights to my youngest child. Later that year, the same judge took my name off my child's birth certificate. And according to numerous people, this is the first and only time in U.S. history that this has ever happened. This judge had taken my name off my child's birth certificate because I'm a transgender woman. And as I said, it went to the Department of Justice, went really high up there, and they said it would take too long, it would cost you way too much money. And they said, start educating people, and that's what brought me to your country here, is I speak all over the world, and I believe that we need to educate people so that it doesn't happen to you, it doesn't happen to anybody ever again.
Do you have any special advice for new trans women or trans people, generally speaking?
In different parts of the world, you have different organizations. You have an organization here, right? My biggest advice is, like, if somebody's in Kansas and they say, I want to transition, there's local support groups. Almost every university in the United States has a Pride LGBT organization. You contact them, maybe they know something. Everybody carries an internet, everybody carries a cell phone. You need to find local community members. You need to find friends to find out to help you. And then maybe sometimes there's only 2, 3, 4 of you, but then you start to build from it. And they get 7, 10, 12, 14, and then sooner or later you have a place where you can come once a week to discuss these things and discuss your issues. And so my biggest advice is for transgender people that in an area that doesn't have resources is keep looking. We all have internet. We all have cell phones. There are people out there, and it just takes some time, something to be patient, if that makes sense.
It's a beautiful advice. Thank you very much, Jessica, for being in with us. And I wish you a pleasant continuation for your world tour.
Yeah.
What can someone do if they want to book you or to invite you to have a talk?
They can go to my website at www.jessicalynn.website, and you can go. There's my email. There's ways of connecting me through there, and you can reach out to me and we can start arranging a presentation. You know, like I said, I speak all over the world. I only do speak in English, but most students around the world do speak in English. I will speak anywhere. I'll go speak to 10 students in South Africa, and I'll go speak to 1,000 in Tokyo.
Thank you for
having me.